Hello everyone, welcome to the story of Wishmaster, part 9. Alex and the Djinn are connected now. This means that the Djinn will always know where Alex is. She can run, but she cannot hide, as it were. That isn't going to stop Alex trying though, and her plan is to find Shannon and get as far away as possible. The Djinn has his own plans, of course. Alex has made 2 wishes, and one more will allow the rest of the Djinn to enter our world and take over. Let's continue the story. Alex makes her way into Raymond Beaumont's party. It is a lavish affair, and there are at least 100 people here, but it could be 200 or even more. It's hard to tell. A pianist and 2 violinists provide classical background music. Waiters and waitresses make their way around the room, bringing plates of hors d'oeuvres, glasses of wine, and glasses of champagne. There are also tables laid out with a wide selection of wonderful food, and much more to drink. Alex makes her way through the crowd, looking for Shannon. It's not an easy task, because the room is packed with people. She sees someone that might be Shannon, but when she gets nearer, she realizes it's not her. So she turns around and she takes a good long look around the room. Now she does spot Shannon, and she quickly makes her way over to her. Shannon has just been given a drink by a waiter at one of the food tables. Alex takes it from her and she puts it down on the table. Shannon says, "What are you doing?" And Alex says, "I'm trying to get you out of here. Come on, we've got to go." Alex's plan goes wrong straight away. Shannon is having none of it. She tells her to get the hell off of me. She thinks Alex has gone mad, and she distracts her by saying, "You obviously haven't seen Beaumont's new friend. You remember the guy from the basketball court?" She puts her hands on Alex's shoulders and she firmly turns her around so that she is facing Mr. Beaumont and his new friend. Alex now sees that Raymond is talking to Nathaniel, and her heart sinks. She had hoped the man at the door would have stopped him from joining the party, but it wasn't to be. When Alex turns back around, Shannon and her drink have gone. She has no choice. She will have to try and find her again. Mr. Beaumont is telling Nathaniel about a memorable party. Nathaniel replies by telling him about a party that he remembers, one that was talked about for centuries. Raymond asks him if he means that it went down in history. Nathaniel responds positively, and Raymond exclaims, "God, how I'd love to host a party like that." Alex is now frantically looking for Shannon, but Shannon is nowhere to be found. As fate would have it, she looks across the room towards Nathaniel again, and at that very moment, Nathaniel turns his head to look directly at her. Then he says the words, "As you wish." Across the room, a happy couple are drinking a toast. The woman then says, "Ted, you can see right through me." The power of Raymond's wish begins turning her fingers into glass, followed by the rest of her hand, her arm, and then her body. She screams, but it does her no good, as her head now turns into glass too. Finally, she explodes, and the shards of glass become like razor-sharp daggers. The people nearby are pushed back by the force of the explosion. Several people are hit right in the face, and the shards inflict terrible wounds. There is blood everywhere, and everyone is screaming. 2 stone snakes suddenly extend from a statue of Pazuzu. One of the snakes bites the guest in the eye, and his whole face begins to dissolve as a result of the magical and extremely toxic venom. The piano now comes to life, and it begins playing notes randomly. The strings inside become loose, and like the snakes from the statue, they extend outwards into the room, looking for victims. One man in particular is their first target. The strings wrap themselves around his arms and hands, pulling them outwards. As they do so, they also pull the man backwards. More strings from the piano wrap themselves around his head, cutting into the flesh of his face. They begin to tighten, and after a few seconds, they tear his head clean off. His head falls to the floor, and it begins to roll across the room. The strings now pick another victim, and they wrap themselves around his leg, dragging him back towards the piano. Raymond Beaumont can't believe what he's seen. In shock, he looks up at Nathaniel, but Nathaniel has changed into his true form. Raymond drops his champagne glass, and he exclaims, "My God!" The Djinn replies, "Not yet human, but soon. Very soon I will be." Once he has got over the shock, Mr. Beaumont does the only thing he can. He runs away, quickly. The whole room is in chaos now, and Alex has to fight her way through the crowds. She hears Shannon call out, and she tries to get to her. However, a fireball now erupts from the fireplace, setting two men completely alight. Not surprisingly, this causes even more chaos, and Shannon is swept away from her. Everyone is trying to leave the house now. Outside the house, one of the security guards uses his walkie-talkie to call for backup. Mr. Beaumont has his own small security force to protect the house, but of course they weren't expecting anything out of the ordinary to happen, so it may take them a while to regroup and come to help. Meanwhile, Alex finds herself walking among dead bodies, and she no longer has any idea where Shannon has gone. The Djinn picks up a glass of champagne, and he drinks it to celebrate his success. He is very much enjoying the spectacle. As he walks through the crowd, most of the people get out of his way, but some people are running around and screaming chaotically, so he uses his magic to push some of them aside. The Djinn catches up with Alex in a connecting hallway, a little bit away from the room where the party was being held. He tells her they have unfinished business. Alex decides to try a different approach, and she tells him that their business is going to stay unfinished. The Djinn has anticipated this tactic though. He reminds her that the guests at the party are suffering horribly. He tells her that she can save them by wishing their suffering away. But Alex won't do it. She argues that he can't make her do anything. If he were to kill her, where would his third wish be then? Once again, he is prepared for this line of reasoning. He replies by saying, "I don't need you dead, Alexandra. I just need you to wish you were." He then animates a nearby life-size stone statue of Poseidon. The statue throws his metal trident at her. It narrowly misses, but only because Alex manages to duck at the very last moment. Terrified again, she decides to run. As she is running, she realizes that she lost the argument, and she thinks about going back to plan A. Somehow, she might still be able to find Shannon and get the hell out of there. Right now, though, she has no idea where she is. She is lost in the depths of Raymond's house. She turns another corner and she almost runs into him. When he ran away from the djinn, he must have run in the same direction. She asks him if he has seen Shannon, but he starts to choke and he collapses to the floor. Black fluid comes out of his mouth, followed by a small black creature with tentacles. It's as if he has given birth to the creature through his mouth. It begins to grow, and more tentacles extend from its growing body. It's hard to discern what it's growing into, though. Right now, it's just a mass of dark flesh, and it's still attached to Raymond by a demonic umbilical cord. Another tentacle emerges, and it grabs Alex by her right leg. She manages to escape, though, and she turns to run again, leaving Raymond to his horrible fate. Around the next corner, the hallway is lined on both sides with life-size statues of ancient warriors. Remembering the statue of Poseidon, she stops running and she begins walking slowly between them. She thinks the djinn might make these statues attack her too. As she makes her way down the hallway, she looks at each statue in turn. What she sees is similar to Raymond's collection of forgotten gods. But these are not forgotten warriors. They are some of the greatest warriors of ancient times. Each one of them is from a different time and culture, and they are holding the weapons they would have used in battle. Alex has almost reached the end of the hallway when a group of security guards come around the corner behind her. They all have their pistols drawn. They tell her they are here to help and they are trying to get the situation under control. But Alex just yells at them to get out. It doesn't matter though. It's too late. The statues come alive and attack the men. They try to defend themselves, but their bullets do little damage and the statues keep coming. In stark contrast, the weapons the statues wield are quite deadly, and 3 of the men are brutally killed. The man closest to Alex manages to avoid being attacked, and he tries to escort her to safety. They make it to the end of the hallway, and they should be able to get away now. The statues have the big disadvantage that they can't move very fast. However, the djinn has caught up with them now too. He is at the opposite end of the hallway, where Alex was a minute ago. But he can see that Alex and the security guard are now standing next to a painting of Jack the Ripper. It's a perfect opportunity for the djinn to scare Alex some more. Jack jumps out of the painting. He knocks Alex out of the way and he knocks the security guard to the floor. He takes out one of his curved knives that he uses to mutilate his victims and he cuts the guard's throat. Once again, Alex runs. The hallway leads Alex to the Room of Forgotten Gods. It's a dead end. The only way out is back the way she came. She calls out in vain for Shannon, but there's no reply. It was her last hope. She thought Shannon might have somehow made her way here. But if you remember, the djinn had already told her that there was no hope. Until now, though, Alex hadn't really believed it. She finds herself standing in front of the space reserved for Ahura Mazda. Of course, the space is still empty, and in a way, that reinforces her feeling of hopelessness. Even Ahura Mazda cannot help her. The djinn enters the room with 2 of the statues by his side. He tells her to make her wish, but she defies him again. Unfortunately, the Djinn holds all the cards now, and he plays his strongest one. He shows her the latest addition to Beaumont's collection. He tells her that it's called Sister, Why Have You Forsaken Me? And he gestures towards it. It is a new painting that Alex didn't notice when she entered the room, but she sees it now. It is a picture of her sister in her upstairs room in their parents' house. Alex remembers what happened that day. The house was on fire and Shannon was trapped. The room was not yet burning, but it soon would be, unless Alex could rescue her. The picture is not quite the same as Alex remembers it though. The inside of the room is reminiscent of the Djinn's throne room inside the gemstone. It's the Djinn's way of showing Alex that he has trapped Shannon, and that this time there is nothing she can do about it. Nevertheless, Alex still defies him, and she actually manages to make him angry. It doesn't really matter though. Alex cannot rescue her sister, just like she couldn't rescue her parents. In response to her defiance, the Djinn simply says, "You know what I say? If you can't beat them, burn them, baby." He sets Shannon's room ablaze, and he shows her a vision of Shannon screaming, burning, and calling out for Alex. As Shannon is burning, he tells Alex to make her wish. Alex knows that she's damned if she does, and she's damned if she doesn't. But now, she remembers something. Something important. Andrew Divoff rightly gets a great deal of credit for his performance in Wishmaster, but Tammy Lauren is great too. Earlier in the film, she has to come across as likeable, competent and determined, but later, when we get nearer to the end, she needs to come across as terrified and desperate, but also defiant. That's a lot of emotions to get right, and I think she pulls it off brilliantly. I don't think there were any weak performances really. All of the actors did a great job. I thought of another fictional reference while I was making this chapter. Alex frantically looking for Shannon reminded me of Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds. I'm thinking of the original version, with Richard Burton playing the narrator and journalist. The part I'm thinking of is when he is desperately searching for his girlfriend, Carrie. It has always stuck in my mind. For 3 days, I fought my way along roads packed with refugees, the homeless, burdened with boxes and bundles containing their valuables. All that was of value to me was in London, but by the time I reached their little red brick house, Carrie and her father were gone. I looked up enviously at those safely on board, straight into the eyes of my beloved Carrie. At sight of me, she began to fight her way along the packed deck to the gangplank. At that very moment, it was raised, and I caught a last glimpse of her despairing face as the crowd swept me away from her. The scene at the party is quite similar to the prologue at the King's Palace, but it's so much better. Most of the special effects are really well done, especially the statues that come to life. The way the tension builds and builds is fantastic, and it all leads to a thrilling conclusion. Of course, I'm going to make you wait until the next episode for the conclusion and the epilogue. We will find out what happens in the end, and I'll give you some of my thoughts about it. Let me know what you think.